Unblock a Smiletrap. I realize it's been a long time. We're sorry about that. We have explanations, but in case you missed us, I'm Emily again.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Cassie.
Good. We're still here. We're all still here. So a little explanation as to where we've been and to where our last episode went. If you guys vaguely remember Dan and Cassie making fun of my old computer, I had this HP computer that I've had for like 3 years, and it was finally my turn to edit the podcast that we recorded, we recorded that like 3 weeks ago. I edited the entire podcast, and my computer had been a little kind of faulty lately. Like, it would, kind of crash sometimes and freeze a lot, and I was like, no, you know what, it happens all the time, like, nothing to worry about, just need to clear off my hard drive. I'm trying to edit this podcast, and it crashes. And for the next week, when I'm trying to run this podcast, my computer will not do it because it keeps crashing, and it started to crash like every 5 minutes, like every time I turn the computer on. So long story short, my computer completely dead with the podcast still stuck on it. So there was no way to re-record the podcast. There was no way to send the footage to Dan or Cassie because they were both on Macs and I was on a PC. Basically, podcast gone forever. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of what happened. Also, my phone died at the same time. So I was phone and computerless for about 2 weeks.
And this is where you all feel bad for
in
Emily.
that time, did you learn how to build campfires? And,
yeah,
live
I
off the
learned
land
how to build campfires and this funny thing called books. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. Books.
You mean ebooks?
No, it's like ebooks except they're like paper, and they have information in them that the internet has too.
Oh wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
it was a big emotional journey for me as well. So, I mean, I learned a lot in my time away from technology, mostly that I can't function without it. So it's a sad, unfortunate truth. But now I've made the full conversion. I have a new MacBook Pro that I can't show you guys because it's right here and I'm talking to it.
I'll show you mine, for example.
This is what a MacBook Pro looks like.
And a nifty little iPhone. So I have made the conversion, and I'm happy about it. But I was the only one who was completely busy and dead. Dan, Cassie, what have you guys been doing?
I was busy being busy and dead. I was applying for colleges, and I was in a musical. That took my entire life.
We've got magic to do.
That's an
Just
excerpt of
for
Dan's
you.
musical.
That's not the
Dan,
right
what about colleges?
Yep.
I was accepted to the University of Texas, and that's where I'm going. The University of Texas at Austin. I'll be majoring in film and potentially minoring in acting. We're seeing about that.
See, I was like, Dan, it was really brave of you to say where you're going to college. I don't do that on the internet. And then I looked down and I'm wearing an Emerson sweatshirt.
Well, to be fair, the University of Texas is huge.
Yeah.
So if someone actually goes through the effort to find me at the University of Texas, they've earned the right to stab me.
There's honestly so much security at Emerson, and there's
quote
way
him on
more
that.
scary people in Boston than stalkers, so...
Yeah. Same with
I'm okay.
Orleans. Yeah.
As far as where I've been, I got a job giving tours at Emerson.
Wait, no. A real job? When
We
you
don't
do
work.
They pay me
people?
real money, and not just in, like coffee money. They pay me the actual kind of money that will let me
Whoa.
go to the UK this summer. So
Whoa.
that's good money. And then other than that, I just decided that it was time to have real friends. So I got some. And it's been a big step for me. I was still the first person to ever call Emily on that MacBook Pro within 2 minutes of her opening it. But
I had downloaded Skype, and before the Skype had even opened, I was getting a call from Cassie.
So I still have my heart in the right place. I just thought it might be good to have people to go see plays with, so I'm doing that. Yes. Stay involved. Go to school. Apply to college. It's okay if you don't get in. That's my advice for today. I said that all with a really creepy smile on my face.
That's horrifying. You're what every kid fears when they apply into college. Speaking of college, and also kind of where I've been, most of you know that I attend Tulane University, and as of next year, I will not be attending Tulane University anymore. I have decided to transfer for reasons being mostly that Tulane just didn't have the programs that I needed. Nothing wrong with the school. It's a great school. It just didn't have what I needed. So I've been in like the horribly stressful process of deciding that I wanted to transfer, what I was going to do after I transferred. I'm still kind of doing that now. That was stressful and hard to deal with, especially when I didn't have a computer or a phone to like contact people with and like get information with. I had to like cancel like 3 interviews I had with other schools to like get information about them because I didn't have anyone to talk to them.
Where do you want to transfer, Emily? Where do you want to transfer?
Right now, I'm actually looking at Emerson.
Where I totally don't go.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at Emerson.
You're just a big fan of their sports teams.
Yeah.
We have these great shirts that say Emerson College, and they have a football on them, and it says undefeated since 1880. That's when our school was founded, and we've never had a football team. A Facebook team is what I was going for.
We do have
Facebook team meeting after school, 3 p.m. Be there.
And I guess the other thing I've been busy with that's like less depressing than transferring colleges is I've been running for King of the Web. Woohoo! So I'm doing a little shameless plugging. I'm running for King of the Web. You can vote for me if you want to. You don't have to. I'll put a link down below.
You mean you're physically not going to make them vote for you?
I will come to your house and force you to log onto your computer and vote for me.
That's more like it.
When is the last day they can vote?
Well, it's today we're recording and it's March 14th. This election ends the 15th tomorrow. But by the time this podcast goes up, I will be up in a new election. And that one ends, I believe, around the end of March. I'm going to be making a video on my channel with the exact date that it ends. But as of right now, I know it's going to be towards the end of March.
Cool.
Right on. So they have tons of time. And for that, you can vote every day.
Yes, you can. 10 times a day.
All right.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Breaks from the internet are an interesting thing. They usually come, I don't know, in my experience, they usually come unplanned. It'll be like all of a sudden a month will go by and I'll be like, oh, jeez, I haven't made a video. And
remember the time?
yeah. And I feel like a lot of people have been taking breaks from the internet lately just because it's like, I don't know if it's something with the new year, but all of a sudden like real life catches up to you and you just like don't have time to make a video on the internet.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Well put. Well put.
I mean, it's the unfortunate
mine was largely show related. I had one last time I was in a show too. So that kind of kills YouTubing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't mesh well.
No. Yeah, I mean, YouTube, like, I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about making a video every day while I was waiting for King of the Web. And, like, realistically, sitting down and making and editing a YouTube video takes a little more than an hour. And, you know, in a whole stretch of a day, that's not a lot of time. But there's so much effort that goes into making a YouTube video. Like, so much, like, mental preparedness and, like, you have to use, like, all of your energy to seem enthusiastic, even though you've probably, like, gotten 5 hours of sleep the night before. YouTube videos, like, do take effort to make.
I have to listen to Kid Cudi's The Pursuit of Happiness at least 5 times before I can make a video.
So there's that.
It's true.
For me, I think, like, I looked down at the date and I realized that it had been over a month since I'd made a video, and, like, that wasn't okay with me. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, whenever they were talking to me about the fact that I hadn't made a video, were treating me like I was a television show, and, like, I had a scheduled time every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but,
It's the Cassie Show.
Good. We couldn't have gotten through an episode without that.
That was horrid.
I mean, you knew that.
In reality, actually, okay, really quickly, tangent. I've always planned that if I were to have a sitcom, it would be about me living with a gay guy, and it would be called Kings and Queens, because my last name is King.
Oh, that's really funny. It'd be like Will and Grace, except
right?
with you.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Anyway, so off that tangent, I'm not that sitcom version of myself yet. So in reality, I'm a person, and I have to do things actually, like real things, that involve getting out of this bed. Though I prefer staying in it. It's just not... I'm not able to do that all the time. The words today, guys. The words.
The words. Yeah, and it is like, it's very frustrating when people who watch your videos like send you messages or
seriously,
or whatever. Like,
I just think you've changed.
We need to make a video. So where have you been? Like, why aren't you making these videos? And I've gotten ones that are like, I need a new Emily the Brave video in my life right now. And it's like, okay, I love the fact that my videos are essential for you to live. Although it's a little creepy. But people have to understand that, like what Cassie said, like, we aren't TV shows. Like, we are real lives, and YouTube is only a very small part of it.
Which I feel like is a tangent that YouTubers go on quite frequently, so it's probably something that you guys have heard before. But it's just, for me personally, I get very frustrated, especially when I finally do post a video and the comments that I get are just like, you've changed, and I feel like this is what's wrong with how you make videos now. And it's like, I don't find the rewarding qualities of making this video the same as I used to, so stop being mean or I won't do it.
Yeah, and this isn't like a, like, oh, shame on you guys for treating us this way. It's just like, it's an interesting thing, taking a break from the internet, because it's something that I enjoy so much doing when I do it, but it's kind of like the process of like preparing to like make a video, or like especially like jumping back in, because you have to like settle into yourself again and be like, so how did I make videos, or like, did I do this thing right, like are these the topics I want to be talking about?
And I mean, I'm not gonna...
It's like eating Cheetos, right? Like, you can eat some Cheetos and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And then you can eat a bag of Cheetos every day for 6 months. But eventually you're going to have to stop for a little bit.
I think...
That's easy.
The reality for me is that I'm also, like, I've been on the internet for a really long time doing this kind of stuff. Like, not just...
You have. You're so old.
You're so old, Cassie.
You're so
How does that
old.
make you feel, being so old?
It's just hard, guys. But in reality and also actuality, so ractuality is what I'm trying to say. So ractuality, in ractuality, I'm trying to decide how long I'm going to be doing this for. And like, if the fact that I just keep taking breaks and every time I take a break it's a longer break, if that means something. And I'm not saying that I'm going to stop vlogging, but it's just, how long as a person, like, how long am I going to be vlogging is a question that I've asked myself quite a lot.
Me too, definitely.
Like, I'm wondering, it's obviously, like, is it something that I'm going to do into my adulthood? I don't see that happening, but I also don't see stopping, so it's just, I've been on the internet a really long time, and I'm starting to question things, because real life is sometimes really cool.
It is.
I've decided to be the first immortal blogger, so I'm going to blog forever.
Good. I'm looking forward to that.
Until time ends.
I'm looking forward to that, Dan.
Which it won't.
Great.
No, I've been thinking about that too, like, especially with this whole, like, transferring college thing.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, you know, where I'm going to be and, like, what skills I'm going to, like, have and what, like, jobs I'm going to need. Of, like, well, just, like, there was a job I was going to take. It was, like, a barista job, to be fair, this semester. But I was like, if I took that job, that free time that I would have had to, like, make YouTube videos would be at that job. So I had to make the choice between doing YouTube more or taking a real life job. And I was like, I'm lazy. And also, like, I knew I was going to have a bunch of other stuff on my plate. So I chose making YouTube videos. And when more recently I have been making more videos. So I don't know. I didn't want to give up YouTube just yet. And I mean, I don't know. It's weird thinking about something that was once just like a little hobby can, like, turn into a lifestyle.
Yep.
There is that moment where it kind of like becomes a job, and then it does lose.
Yeah, once
like
it becomes a job, it's
the
not
fun.
the same.
Yeah. I think that's all.
Yeah. A very like poor paying job.
And I'm running social media for like 3 clubs on campus, and I'm also running social media. I have an internship in Boston where I'm running all of their social media and making videos for them, and I'm kind of getting burnt out. And I'm a tour guide, so all I do...
Is it like a lawnmower company? Hold on.
It's a nonprofit.
What are you social mediaing? It's
called Project Place in Boston.
Dan's looking it up right now.
It's called Project Place. I haven't made their videos for them yet. That's what all the footage was that I was currently putting on my computer. Backstory. Can we cut some of this out?
Yeah.
No?
No. Nope. I'm editing, and I say everything stays. So this moment right here in the show Hey, show.
Dan!
How's it going?
Daniel
And then
Paul!
Cassie strangled Dan.
Project Place is... I don't know what it is.
It's a non-profit organization that benefits people in the homeless community who either came back from Vietnam and couldn't get a job, or have been sexually abused in their homes, or people who are criminals, or people who had substance abuse problems. And it has classes for getting back into the job circuit. So there's some computer classes, there's classes on how to write a resume, there's classes on how to put together a CV, there's classes on basic job skills and training, and then classes about how to get off alcohol. And then sometimes we send people to the actual prisons to talk to inmates about being in Project Place whenever they get out of the jail, or it's commuting Project Place. There's a lot of different options. It also has reduced housing, and they will give you a job on the Project Place campus, and they will give you a house, but you have to pay rent. It's just basically to get you into the field of paying rent. This is not a very interesting topic for the podcast.
No, it's a great thing.
So I really liked Alex Day's new music video, personally. I thought,
why are we talking about Alex Day? See, whenever...
One thing that it was kind of funny that was happening to me while I was taking my break from the internet is I got recognized twice. One time on my school's campus, a girl had tweeted me previously, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'm taking a tour at your school this time. It'd be really cool if I'd see you." And I was like, "Yeah, it would be really cool," but obviously it's very hard because I'm classes.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Silence.
Yeah. But I was walking to class one day and I saw a bunch of tour groups, and I get to class and I look at my phone and I get this tweet that says if the girl I just saw wearing the Pixar shirt was Emily the Brave, I just saw you, and I was like, wow! So that was really cool. And I couldn't have been more of a caricature of myself in that moment. I was wearing a Pixar shirt, and
Oh.
And then just a couple days ago I was I'm back home obviously, and I was walking down our downtown street. And I was with David and my boyfriend, and we walked into the store, and a girl taps me on my shoulder, and she's like, "Are you Emily the Brave?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I was walking down the street, and I thought I saw you because I recognized Dave, and I saw you, and I ran back, and I wanted to say hi." And I was like, "Oh, hi!" And it was so crazy. She was the nicest girl, Christina. Hi, Christina. It was very nice meeting you. And it was just so funny, being recognized at school, and then in my own hometown. And it's even though you can take breaks from the internet, the internet's still there.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I was at a speech meet. Speech is a thing some people do. Anyway, I was at a speech meet, and someone recognized me, and they were like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And yeah,
Dan's actually a tough guy in real
The
life.
first time I ever got recognized was at a speech meet. I was doing a John Green piece.
Oh,
Of
yeah?
course you were.
Yeah. Looking for
What
Alaska.
John Green piece?
Looking for Alaska.
Looking for Alaska? Were you Alaska, or were you looking for?
I was prose, so I was narrator.
Oh, okay. I do duo.
Which is a category in speech if you don't know anything about the NFL, which is the National Forensics League, not the Football League.
I'm in the NFL.
My speech
That's
teacher
what I
tells
mean.
me
The
that I
Football League,
speak too
not the-
fast.
Yeah.
I also got recognized, so I give tours. I've had several people come into the tour office and be like, "I watch your videos," and I was like, "Let me tell you about Emerson College."
It is amazing how quickly you divert away from it, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
That same thing happened
very
at speech.
quickly
She's like-
cool, done.
She's like, "Hey, I watch your Dan Resler. I watch your videos and do the thing and the thing." And I'm like, "Oh man, so speech is crazy, right?"
I got recognized at an airport once, and a guy
No
came up to me,
way.
and he was just like, "You're Cassie King," and I was like, "Yes, I am. Let's not talk about how you know that. Moving on."
In other news, look at that airplane over there. Yeah.
I don't know why, it makes me I love it when people come up to me, my initial reaction is, "Oh my god, you're my favorite," and then there's that moment of, "Let's not talk about this anymore."
Yes.
Yeah, there
Yes.
is.
Yes.
That said, if you ever recognize any of us, or probably any other YouTuber, I'll speak on behalf of the entire website, you should say hi. They let people like that.
Oh, I love
They
it when
do.
you say hi. I hate getting messages that are like, "I saw you today." No.
Oh, I hate that because you're like, well, we could have hung out and it would have been fun. But
Not
no.
to mention, if somebody comes into my tour office and says, "Oh my god, you're Cassie King," it just makes me look so much more famous to the people I work with, and it's
And
so
that's,
cool.
That's what she wants.
And it's like,
That is the best.
right? I just seem so much more important. It's really about my ego,
You're just
guys.
like, "Yeah, I am. You want an autograph? All right, scram, kid."
It's all about my ego,
Why
let's be
a
honest.
Super deli owner? Why?
I don't know. I can't stop it.
Every single time. It's like when we don't put him away, he just keeps coming back up.
We're back,
I never
guys.
do that voice
We're
when
so
I'm not
back.
on this podcast.
Music?
Good.
Music?
Music.
Music. Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun. Boom.
We're going for a slow jazz kind of effect today.
So we got some requests to talk about The Hunger Games, which is coming out March 23rd.
Yes.
We talked about The Hunger Games briefly in our first episode of the year, where we talked about kind of everything that was going to happen this year, but I think we should elaborate on it a little bit more, because The Hunger Games is becoming a very large franchise, and it has a huge fandom here in the YouTube and internet community.
And so what we want to talk about in addition to that is just kind of franchises in general, and how we feel about franchises of, not just of books coming to movies, but now that I think about it, everything that we're talking about as a book being made into a movie, series-wise, and just series in general. So, if we want to go chronologically, Dan, did you want to say something about Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is awesome, and I like it a lot. Also, The Hobbit's coming out, and I like it a lot.
Anything else
Right,
about
so-
franchise?
That's it.
So Lord of the Rings is making another movie after their big block ended, which is interesting because
The Hobbit, yeah. It's actually going to be 2 movies, part 1 and part 2.
wow, oh my god, wow, that's a lot of Lord of the Rings.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of Lord of the Rings.
It's going to be great.
I've seen one Lord of the Rings movie because
What?
Kaylee and Liam made me watch it too. Like,
Oh, yeah,
they
we've been
like
through this
tied
already.
me to my computer from London and like sat me down and were like, Cassie, you need to watch this. And
It's so good.
I was just-
cry, like,
I
all the time.
I really
just
should
thinking
read
about
them because I'll do it. It's on the list on my
Plus,
of my life.
you're going to have to watch The Hobbit because it's
Martin
starring
Freeman.
so,
So
I love
yes,
Martin
I'm going to
Freeman.
have to watch The Hobbit, of course.
yeah.
So Lord of the Rings is actually, well, at least The Hobbit is a book in the series.
Yeah, I mean, Lord of the Rings, I don't know. I don't consider, when I think of like big franchises, I think of the ones that are geared toward teenagers.
Yeah,
like
Lord of the
Harry
Rings.
Potter, Twilight.
It seems pretty grown up and like substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it fits that category, though. It was like a very deliberate. I mean, obviously, when the books were being written, they're very old books, so that was
Yeah.
not necessarily intended as a franchise. But like when the movies were made, they intended it to be
Yeah.
this big blockbuster.
Yeah,
franchise.
definitely.
I
Yeah.
do.
And it did happen. They won an Oscar. It's whatever.
They won lots.
But yeah, I'm sorry. It's the only fantasy movie ever to win Best Picture, though.
That's
Return of the
true.
King.
And actually, whenever people were freaking out about Harry Potter not winning the Oscar, I do want to like say really quickly, Harry Potter never won an Oscar. I personally am more than okay with that.
Me too.
Harry Potter were not the movies were not fantastic, guys. Like
They really weren't. I mean, they were so good to us because the books were so good to us.
they were kind of
movies,
crappy.
Yeah.
Especially as far as like telling a story goes in the whole. Like each one of
Yeah.
them has their own merit, but if you look at them as a whole, they did not tell a very cohesive story.
They really didn't. I mean, the reasons, I don't know. The reason I like the movie is because I like the book so much. It was just another Harry Potter thing to get excited about. I
Yeah.
felt.
And I think that that's the key with franchises. It's another thing to get excited about, whereas The Lord of the Rings, because there was so much time in between the books and the movies, I felt like they became their own entities.
Yeah,
Which-
definitely.
Some like 110-year-old dude's like, I remember when that came out.
Right, exactly.
It's
So
gonna be
like
sweet.
it had time to become its own entity, whereas now like The Hunger Games had how long before it was made into a movie? Like not even a full year
Not
after the
even,
last
like-
book came out.
Yeah, once the last book came out, they already had movie talks.
So it was incredibly fast. And I think
Well, because that's what it is now. Like, once a big series comes out, you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna make a movie about it.
And I feel like that's actually going to become dangerous because, I mean, especially if you're going to talk about Oscar nominations, it holds very little merit and very little weight, especially because it was so hot off the presses. The one Harry Potter Oscar that I could ever see, not winning, but just being nominated for that it wasn't, might be Alan Rickman for supporting actor.
Definitely. I mean, he did a great job.
And not for
Regardless.
Half-Blood Prince, because I thought he was really bad in Half-Blood Prince, but I thought he was good in Deathly Hallows Part 2.
I
But-
agree.
But even then, it's debatable.
The
Either
thing
way.
I'm worried about is that because making movies based off books is becoming so popular, I'm worried that a lot of authors are going to start writing their books to be made into movies.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference
I do
between...
kind of feel like The Hunger Games was like that.
It was a very cinematic book.
It is,
Yeah.
but I felt like that's just kind of Suzanne Collins' writing style. Like, one thing I was... an example of, like, a bad movie-to-book translation was Water for Elephants. Fantastic book. One of my favorite books. The reason I love that book so much is because of all the time the author, whose name I can't remember, Sarah Gruen, the book's right over there, took to develop every single character. The movie did not do that. Because the story of Water for Elephants is interesting, but it's the reason, like, it's so good is because the characters mean so much to you because you feel like you understand them so well. Movie did not do that. It just told the story. It didn't care to develop the characters at all. And
and so the language of that book is so rich. It's so and that's kind of how I felt about Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close too, because the language is so fluid and rich, and there's so much meat to it. And then the movie, it like you have to strip it in order to make it cinematic. And so that was kind of an issue that I had with there. So I agree with you for Water for Elephants, because I love the book.
Yeah, not everything translates, because, the power of the book is in the words, and the power of a movie is in what you see.
And I think the unfortunate thing is that The Hunger Games has so much potential to be a great movie, but my problem, and I don't know if this is going to be true in the movie, but from what I've seen from the movie and how I feel about the casting, most of what I've watched seems very scripted. And it's weird because you have the ability to have such a fantastic, not only action movie, but action movie with an emotional side to it as well, and there's a dystopian feel. So it's got all of these great aspects, but then Josh Hutcherson sounds like he's reading a script. And I don't understand why, particularly. Yeah. And I really don't understand Lenny Kravitz as Cinna.
No.
I love Cinna. Cinna's my favorite character.
I agree with the casting with Josh Hutcherson and even the guy who's playing Gale. Like, it's all hunky dudes that are going to be on the cover of, like, Tiger Pop magazine.
Yeah.
Like, they're making The Hunger Games the next Twilight.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I just... Because The Hunger Games, I love The Hunger Games books. I love the series. I love the series way apart from the movies. And I loved the series because of, Cassie, the same aspects you said, the dystopian aspect, the development of Katniss as a character, the rebellion of the children, and I just thought it was so good. But the way I've seen the trailers, it just looks like they're making it like another Twilight movie.
And I mean, what I think Harry Potter did right was that they casted no-names as their main people, and I think that was something that The Hunger Games should have considered. Yes. I know that you're trying to make a big brand movie, and you're trying to make a big franchise, so you had Jennifer Lawrence, who had just been nominated for the Oscar, and she was fantastic in Winter's Bone. She has quite dead eyes, which I'm just going to say. I'm sure she's going to be great as Katniss. Everything I've read has been just stunning interviews of her having great character development. I'm not worried about that so much. I just think that it might have been stronger if everybody had been a no-name. If everybody had been pulled, just because there would be no previous associations with them. And I think
like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson.
Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson had blockbusters before. Kristen Stewart was in all these horror movies. Robert Pattinson obviously had a very upstanding British model career, and then the Harry Potter series. And it's rough making your name for a franchise that is obviously based on something, and then having actors who are previously known for something. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you said all good things. I mean, I totally agree. Regardless of everything that's been said, I am excited for the Hunger Games movie, mostly to see how it turns out. And, I don't know, I've been finding myself getting more and more disappointed with the movie that I haven't even seen yet, just because of, like, the horrifically large and young fandom it has. I mean, The Hunger Games, it was on middle school, like, freshman reading lists, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the people who are interested in The Hunger Games now are interested in it because of the Josh Hutchersons and...
Liam.
What's the guy?
Liam
something that's playing Gale. Yeah. They're interested in it for that. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just...
And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but, the big question in Twilight was always Jacob or Edward, and I feel like what we've made is Gale or Peeta, and whenever I was reading the books, I never once asked myself that question. That wasn't a thing that... it didn't seem like she was ever choosing between. It wasn't a choosing between kind of situation.
No, I mean...
It was a little bit in Catching Fire.
It was a little bit, but, like, the story didn't revolve, like, all of Twilight revolved around Bella's decision, like, Jacob or Edward.
No, it was a subplot. Yeah.
Most of the Hunger Games, like, Gale or Peeta was a very teeny thing. The most of it was Katniss versus the Capitol. Like, that's what most of Hunger Games
Gale was, like,
about.
barely there for most
Yeah.
of it. Right?
What was that?
And then it was like all of a sudden, and he matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he...
Yeah.
What?
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 Did you read...
Was
did
that
you
a
read...
spoiler?
Was that...
No.
You didn't read...
I didn't finish Mockingjay. Does it happen towards the end of
Oh my
Mockingjay?
god, Dan, can you bleep that out just in case people haven't read the series?
Bleep. I read the first two, and then I read the first half of Mockingjay.
Yeah,
I didn't
Mockingjay
finish
got
it.
a little slow, but that's another thing.
do you
so
care
it'll
that
be
I...
interesting to see what the Hunger Games turns out to be. I mean, I'm
Can
definitely
you
looking
please
forward to
beep
it.
that, though? But, like, not just cut it out, but beep it?
Yeah, no beep it.
And then Gale, beep!
yeah,
And then we'll talk
especially,
about it.
And then you'll just hear Dan say, was that a spoiler? And then you can cut it.
Yeah,
Okay.
That'll be funny. Sorry.
good.
Live editing.
Let's talk about our editing in the
So Lionsgate now wants to make another Twilight movie. They want Stephanie Myers to write another book, and then Robert Pattinson said that he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Authors writing for movies.
Yep. Dan, say
Angers
something.
me.
I have no opinion. I've seen none of the Twilight movies and read none of the Twilight books. It's hard for me to have
Can
an
you
opinion.
please?
I like Robert Pattinson a lot as a
Yeah, me
person,
too.
though. So I'm going to go with him.
How do you feel about the Hunger Games / anything?
I like the Hunger Games, sort of. Not really. I don't know. I don't have strong opinions on any of these
Yeah.
things. They're big blockbuster film and book franchises that will be big blockbuster film and book franchises that I will pay little attention to. But that's fine.
See,
well,
it's hard to
let's-
ignore it.
Welcome
You're
to the
on
end of the
Tumblr.
show. This is the end of the show.
Well, let's, I guess, do a little review once the Hunger Games comes out. I definitely will have opinions about it. I know Cassie will have opinions about it, and Dan might.
I have opinions about everything, man.
That's true. That's true.
You don't have to ask
I
me to
will
have
definitely
opinions.
see it. I'll tell you what I think after I see it.
Which is, it's kind of like having an opinion.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and sticking with us after that really long break. That was not planned at all.
That was a 30-minute episode, guys. Do we need to talk about something else?
No, I have to go.
Okay, we're done.
She has to go.
Um,
To end this episode, let's have an impromptu drum session with Cassie, Emily, and Dan.
go.
Ready?
What am I drumming?
A one, 2,
What am
3,
I?
4.
Ah! Got a spoon.
Yeah.
See, you really did mean impromptu.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just
Right on.
that might have looked cool. I accidentally hit a spoon and then it flew in front of my face.
Yeah. That was
Good.
fun.
Good. Stay tuned, and until next time, I'm Emily.
I'm
I'm
Cassie.
Dan.
Okay. See you guys.
Bye.